dead in an age of strife. From the ashes, the tangent grows as kings are crowned, a new beginning flows. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, as stories sing. Disgusting glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in stars. Oh, reforged in stars. Yeah, yeah. After many years left to die, rediscovered for it to rise. The network finds a gem to forge anew, to shine again. Once a dragon rose, as the slayer froze, all the tangents close. Once the dragon slows, as the slayer pose, tangents reforged in prose. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in soul. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in souls. Discussion does now mow, things do now grow, tangents now soar. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in soul. Disgusting, tangent kings, a new age, a story sing. Disgusting glows and grows, tangent kings reforged in souls. Yeah, reforged in souls.
The network is alive! I feel the signals! Burning truths connecting the dots! They can't stop the flow!
We're back. We're back. We're still here. Slower clap, slower clap, slower clap. We survived last week. That is commendable, especially after the the way that it all went. But welcome everyone. Welcome to another Monday with DiscussThing's Tangent Kings. I am DiscussThing, and we are here to once again bring in the news. We don't have a newsroom, but we have our rooms, and sadly today, currently, we're a man down, and I do hope that we get to see him very soon, and especially for my sake, because from what I just realized as the intro was playing, I'm the only one here who actually is on camera. I'm surrounded by cartoons, which is basically my high school experience again.
Well, we had a man down last week, and Kai is returned.
Yeah.
So there we go.
And Kai provided the most epic return, which I thoroughly enjoy. And I'm just gonna say one thing. I'm not gonna discuss anything, but you gotta love America. That's it. That's what I'm gonna say. But welcome everyone. This week we have a slew of news to tell you, things to talk about, to see how gaming is going down under. Probably going to touch upon some YouTube stuff that just before the show got revealed. And we'll try to entertain you as much as possible. And with me to help me with that are our currently 3 panelists and co-host, which is on my left, which is Digny with a Rudolph nose, if I can be very specific. And he's hard of hearing as of late. You gotta excuse him. He's in his venerable age.
I'm coming to you live from my bunker, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming from my bunker because my noise cancellation my noise cancellation system doesn't work, and since I don't like wearing headphones, I am now holding the headphones like a goddamn telephone. Okay, folks? Right? Yeah. I don't know what that means, but yeah. It's great to be here, folks. I'm already getting cramp in my left arm, so if I do not hear what anyone has to say, that's perfectly fine. I'll just give my opinion on the topic and leave it at that. Imagine if everyone did that, folks. If we were just on a show, we did a show, and we covered the topics, and we just gave our thoughts, and then get the perspectives or the thoughts of everyone else here. Then we get the thoughts of the people in the chat, and then we just move the fuck on. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? It'd be like a conference call.
This
It's
is
like
unheard of.
situation report.
This is unheard of.
It's completely unheard of because no
We
one
might
is
have to
actually
try it.
Yeah, no one is actually talking to one another. We're just, what's this about? This. What's your opinion? That. What's your opinion, Galaxy? That. What's your opinion, Kai? That. What's your opinion, Helzo? That. What's your opinion, Jace? That. What's your opinion, chat? That. And we just move on. We cover like 100 topics in a show doing that. Here's your
It's in the
2-minute
name.
time limit. Go.
It's in the name.
Go on. Now, this show is only called Tangent Kings because Dragon Slayer decided it should be called Tangent Kings. So it's his decision, not mine.
Yeah.
But it's great to be here. Here's to a great show. Thank you all for being here. Now I'm going to let other people speak because my left arm has cramp.
Okay,
Go
well, I
for
guess
it, Galaxy. How is it with you?
everything's been good, other than as we know about last week when the Rumble payout came. It wasn't that good, so it's just
I missed
yeah.
it. What happened with it?
Yeah, we were supposed to get most people were expecting us to get more money because obviously they did it because they tried to up things, up the metrics to get in, to stay in, and they thought, hey, that means that people are going to be probably getting a little bit more money for it because a lot of people are probably going to be not staying in. So instead, pretty much got the same as it did last time. So it's like I'm doing more work on it. So it's just like, I mean, why am I going to do 300? I have 300 more watch hours somehow. It's like for other people to watch my stuff because I can't really watch my own stuff to get that watch hours. So they have to watch my stuff. And then you need like originally it was 20 chatters and you need 75 chatters. So I mean that part can be fine. But it's just either way, you need that many and everything, and then you got the mandatory shorts that they added in, which was stupid to me.
I
But
saw that. That sounds like being promoted at work. You're getting more responsibility and zero the increase in your salary.
Yeah,
At least that's how it's in my job.
yeah, I didn't. Well, technically, I got a little bit more than I did last month, but not as much as I got when I first got in, which was like last
but
year.
Like if you're getting like this much for doing this much more, it's crazy. Well, this is something that we're probably going to touch about because apparently the infection is not only on Rumble, but we've been seeing a lot of changes happening. It's gonna be great,
And we'll
guys.
talk
It's gonna
about
be
that post that I shared too. I hope.
Okay, yes, that too. We're gonna have
I
to
found it,
figure that out.
guys. I found a solution to my problem. Right, I have jacked up the headphone volume so loud that I can put the headphones just above my ears and into my brain, and I am able to hear what you guys are saying. I look like a fucking Cyberman right now with these headphones on my head, but I can hear you guys not through my ears, but through sound vibrations penetrating my skull and directly into my brain. So it's not as loud as I would like it, folks, but at least I can hear Galaxy well. I can hear Helzo less well, but What about Kai? How well can I hear you, buddy?
Welcome back.
Just over here thinking about what Helzo was talking about earlier about being surrounded by cartoons. There's an easy solution. Join us, Helzo.
No!
One of us. One
Nope,
of
never,
us.
never. Nope, nope. If I do that, no.
Hey, technically,
I'm getting flashbacks.
technically, you are a cartoon in the intro.
True, I am. All right, I concede. That was easy.
See, everybody, peer pressure does work.
Oh no. Okay, you know what? That's actually a good idea. I will try to make something cartoonish for me one day, especially if I get blown up as a channel. Because, as you know, oh wait, that reminds me that this is the last show, and thank you for being here. I needed to bless the stream, otherwise it might really be. Oh,
I know what you could do. Next year, April 1st,
I'm afraid.
be the cartoon.
Hold on. What does it take place on a Monday?
I don't know.
Does it?
I mean, even if it doesn't, you could do it anyway on the Monday.
If it
I
doesn't,
understand.
we can fool everyone that it is Monday as an
There
April
we go.
Fool's joke.
Well,
There we go.
Galaxy, I am very happy you think this show will last until the 29th of March,
It will.
2027.
Yeah, well,
It's immortal. This show is. We survived talking about Jews. We survived talking about Iran. We survived talking about African migrants flooding and trying to, molest people and invade Europe. I don't think there's anyone or anything that can push us away at this point, because the worst thing that has happened to a stream of Tangent Kings is that it was partially demonetized because of the language that it was used. That's the only thing, and that didn't last, by the way. That lasted a total of 3 days because I appealed.
I think the worst things that have happened to Tangent Kings is its original host left and its second chance blew up. I think those are the two worst things that have happened to this great coalition. But folks, I got to find more people. We got to find more people because we always need more people. Let me tell you, the strongest shows have the most people, right? The strongest shows, okay? And that's
Auditions are on.
why auditions are on. And if you have a nice pair of tits, you're hired. We don't even need to go through the interview process. Basically, if you're a real woman, you can be on the show. No questions asked. Okay?
And
It's
it can
always
be started by the WNBA in the last 2 years.
it's always the last show, Huntress, because Tangent Kings has a habit of destroying every channel it's been on.
I think this is the
And-
longest version of it.
Yes. In fact, this might. Yes, this is actually the longest version of any reality-based tangent or reality-based adjacent show
Do you know why that is, by the way?
that
it's
has
because I'm
a
Bulgarian.
recurring panel.
It's because I'm Bulgarian and I'm used to torture.
Yes. And it's also because of the fact that I just won't fucking give up, unlike other creators. But what's important is that we're all here. Jace will hopefully be here before the show ends, and hopefully his car doesn't blow up. Okay, so that's a good aim.
Hopefully
But,
he doesn't get bricked up.
One of the great things about today's show is that there are a lot of things we can
yeah.
cover. It wasn't like Saturday, right? On Saturday, there wasn't really a lot to cover on Saturday, but immediately, in a few days, all these things start happening, and new week, new topics, new ideas, and one of those key things is what Helzo's going to bring up now, because
Yeah.
the crazy stuff that's going on this week, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
So I don't know exactly where to begin, because the amount of outlets and people who have covered this is absolutely Amazing. It is amazing. It's about GTA 6 and everything that Strauss Zelnick has been saying. And I don't know if we're gonna be able to cover everything, but we're definitely gonna try. And we're gonna start with this, and I will be opening that fucking article, even though it's IGN. Says Strauss Zelnick, boss of Rockstar parent company Take-Two, has defended the company's decision not to release GTA 6 on a physical disc, insisting when it comes to big games, discs don't really make sense to the consumer. Now, before we continue with the article, I'm just gonna say, blow it up your ass, Strauss. Just blow it up your ass.
This guy.
Physical discs.
This guy, Helzo, looks like Hassan Piker.
Yeah, he looks like, and I had a picture of this absolute idiot. Let me just. This is another article. This is it. This is Vince McMahon from Temu, basically.
It looks like Chris Hansen and Vince McMahon had a baby.
Yeah, exactly,
God,
and stretched a condom on him. It's horrible.
Okay.
This is yeah, and by the way, speaking of this is from Pirate Nation, and he says the following: Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick says GTA 6 will be an incredible bargain. Let me just remind everyone that the $80 price that this game is on, first of all, is higher than what the standard is. Let me just remind you as well that the $80 price of this game already inflated the standard from 60 to 70. And a third reminder is that the $80 price doesn't get you the full fucking game.
Exactly.
It gives you a very trimmed version with a lot of places and a lot of stuff missing. And they're trying to sell cosmetics, places, barbershops, and potentially, this is still alleged, some quests that might be crucial to the story, the main story, not a DLC. They're trying to present this as a DLC. So you're basically going to pay $100 upfront for a game that is being said that it's an incredible bargain. I don't know, guys. $100 is something that I would pay for a Sega console with about 20 cartridges right now.
Saying this is an incredible bargain is like saying Starfield is an incredible bargain for $60 or $70. Folks, I recently bought Starfield on the Xbox PC store, right? The price is about $40, right? I didn't spend $40. $25 was actually in Microsoft reward points. And the other 15 was in actual currency, right? That to me is a bargain for Starfield, right? And that's why I think it's very important, folks, to
Rockstar's
use.
parent company.
Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to make a point, you cunt. You know, I would do that to panelists, but I've already burnt enough bridges. Okay, okay. That to me is a bargain, right? And that's why you should use, you know, Microsoft rewards, because if you build up enough points, and boy, do you need a lot of points for $80, you can get all the games you want utilizing their system. But come on, guys. We are dealing with a company here that has overhyped their product, and they won't be able to live up to the hype, right? Starfield couldn't live up to the hype, despite the fact that it was Bethesda Game Studios' most well-made game with the least amount of bugs and problems with it, right? It couldn't live up to the hype. It was mid. It was mid at best. You look at Cyberpunk 2077, the folks over at CD Projekt Red couldn't live up to the hype. Let's even use a better example. BioWare couldn't live up to the hype of Mass Effect 3, and its ending was a goddamn catastrophe. So whenever you overhype a franchise, whenever you overhype a game or a movie, it's very, very difficult for that product to live up to the hype, which only increases the chances of its failure. So it's best to, you know, die things down a bit. Of course, showcase your product, but don't overhype it.
The thing is that they're trying to to sell us the idea, and I will be showing you a very good information about what we're just seeing. That they're equating this with vinyl records, because apparently for them vinyl records are not good, and they're trying to present you with a picture that you're already digital, already on the internet. So what do you care? Just consume the product. Just be happy for what you're getting, what we're giving you. Just be the little pig that is going to enjoy the stew that the masters are giving him. And it's very funny that they're saying equating physical release to vinyl records, because this is just what happens to Google search, and it says vinyl record sales reached 1.04 billion in the US since 2025, marking the firm's 19th consecutive year of growth and the first time revenue crossed $1 billion. This is 19 years of growth. So this is basically from 2002, is it? Something like that. No, more. No. 2011. No. Why am I bad at math?
Don't
2006.
correct them, guys.
7,
No, you fucking
2007.
correct them. What the fuck's wrong with you? We could have made something out of that.
I
We
am
could have done a
I
segment.
am on 3 hours of sleep, and I never had good math skills, so yeah.
We
The
could
thing
have
is
done a
that-
segment. Helzo is mathematically stupid or something. I don't know. HMS discuss thing. He's mathematically stupid. Discuss thing.
Yes.
Good God.
I am a mathematical idiot, and I actually almost made my father crash on the highway when I told him that I had an A in math in 11th grade. Anyways, the thing is that just equating this showcases you how little these absolute fuckers know, because this has been on the rise. Same with physical discs. The more they're trying to take something beloved away, the more there's going to be a need, and they're actually going to make physical discs explode. And they're already doing that, because I've been seeing, if you remember, I made a video where I burned the CD completely offline, and ever since that video came out, I have seen 4 or 5 large accounts on X doing the same thing, whether it's Blu-ray, whether it's external HDD, but they're doing the same thing, going offline and just downloading their movies, downloading their games, and just saving them offline to use them forever. And they're fucking defending the digital, and there are actually people, by the way, that are trying to tell you that having a digital license from the company means that you own the game, and that it's not going to be taken away, and it cannot be taken away. To which, of course, I think everybody here and on chat can understand how laughable that is, because they can and they have. I'm just going to point at you, Ubisoft, that you have been, and I'm going to point at Google, and I'm going to point at
PlayStation,
Google,
Sony.
and PlayStation as well. Yes, with the movies.
You're gonna,
But yeah,
you're gonna
you
launch
can point at every major company that has these services embedded into it, and find at least one case of where the license was no longer supported, and you don't own, you suddenly don't own what you have bought. So
Exactly.
Another-
fuck off.
Another is
Exactly,
Amazon,
Yeah,
because they've done it too with movies and stuff.
because I gave the example a few weeks back where again go on GOG. I got the news that a certain game, Spec Ops: The Line, they said that they weren't going to have the license to be able to sell the game anymore. The thing is, though, is that once you buy the game on there, you still own it. Even if they don't have the license to sell it anymore, you still own it on that platform.
yeah, you own it. You can download it, and you can download the install files, the .bin and .q files, and installer, and you can just have it on your PC or burn it externally. And completely offline, you can do it, because they keep the full files of the game. They completely buy what the game is, even if it has a license, even if it has an external company, whatever goes. That's why one of the reasons that GOG doesn't have as many games as other platforms, because a lot of developers and companies are not willing to do that. There are a lot of games. For instance, I'm gonna tell you the game Bayonetta that I'm currently playing. It's not on GOG. It's a wish list. It's a dream list still to be added. And what I can totally guess is that they just don't want to give the entirety of the game so to it to be available there for reasons. And that's the case with a lot of games. Chrono Trigger is another example that it is not on GOG, it's only on Steam if you want to buy it for PC.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
there's a
one of
lot
the
of other
reasons.
Square Enix games
Yeah,
that are
there are a
not
lot of
on there,
others.
but surprisingly now a lot of Final Fantasy games are going over there to GOG. So
Which is amazing. Which
Yeah.
means that you can have your collection and just place it.
Yeah.
And the more this thing, what we're saying now with GTA, the more companies that have been here for a long time or just are more consumer oriented are going to kind of bend or at least become a bit more agreeable with GG's terms, and they're going to just provide them with install files so people can. I think that this is going to be good in the long run, at least on our side where we're looking for an outlet even for smaller games to have and to be able to play offline. It's not going to do anything for GTA. GTA is never going to be on that side because they're fucking money grabbing cunts.
All right. Here's basically where you can all see everything that this whole entire gaming industry is going to completely implode on itself, and we will see it on January of 2028 when the new PS6 comes out relatively soon afterwards, when it won't have the disc drive it anymore. It's when they go completely all digital. The problem with that is the fact that they're wanting you to go into like this all digital landscape and all that. But the problem is though is that for something like Grand Theft Auto, it's untelling how long it's going to be before, when or if it even comes to PC, just due to the fact of all the modding and stuff that you can do on PC, and people have gone over the DRM that people have installed into these games, like days after they've even come out. The problem is though is that they are fundamentally going to cause themselves to implode due to the fact that the people that they need to be able to play these games is the normie audience. And what's the problem with this new console? They've already estimated that it's going to cost over $1,000. Do you think that a normal working class person is just going to drop $1,000 on a brand new console? No. They use this as a means of entertainment. If the means of entertainment it far outsees what they're willing to pay, then they'll find their entertainment elsewhere. So them going through all these measures to making everything digital and all that stuff, it's not going to matter if you can't get the normal audience to actually participate in it as well. Yes, we see that the trailers and all that stuff get massive hits and everything, and supposedly going to see people have already said that it's already made $1 billion on pre-orders alone, which is still fucking retarded for pre-orders for a digital only game.
Yeah.
But the further that they go along with all this, it's going to show that they have absolutely no idea what the actual normal person is actually willing to spend their hard-earned money on. Times are already tough as it is. You can't expect somebody to just drop $1,000 on a game console to where pretty much everything that you buy on there you don't actually own, then potentially have to drop over $100 for another video game. Yeah, that ain't gonna fly.
That is exactly what. Golding.
When was the last time a games console was released in January?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's going to be released in January. Just basically whenever PlayStation just puts out their all digital console and everything.
And there's another point too. Never in the history of console gaming has there been a all digital release just on its own. Never.
So
it's never been a thing.
It's not, and it's something that is now going to happen for the first time. And I'm going to add to what Kai said and what you said with this. Rockstar and Sony they're not interested, as Kai said, to what the consumer wants and the consumer thinks. They want to mandate what the consumer wants and the consumer thinks. They want to make this the norm. That's why, because they're huge companies, like they're almost too big to fail. And I would actually say that they are too big to fail with what's been going on with all the backlash and still so many pre-orders and stuff like that. The thing is that if you have these two companies mandate what's going to happen, like with the next thing that we're going to talk about GTA's new trailer, when you mandate this and when you have success from these abhorrent anti-consumer practices, that's what's going to show the other AAA huge companies that are still smaller than you, are not as a leading voice in the industry as you, that they can do it. It's also going to show investors that they can trust more into these companies and put more money into them again, even though they're producing anti-consumer practices, because they're just not going to care about the consumer, because they will have been shown that if a company is big enough, if it has the right marketing campaign, if it's just pushy enough and just doesn't stop and even apologize or even acknowledge its fans for a month, yes, I'm looking at you, Sony, it's just going to result in a success, and that the consumers are going to bend the knee. That's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to accommodate anyone but themselves and their wallets. They're trying to accommodate only their small but very powerful circle to reshape the gaming industry. Because, and I think that is true, indie games are starting to overtake everything. Smaller developers are starting to become more popular with the consumers, and if something is not done, the AAA gaming industry will disappear. I think everybody got very, very stressed out with Expedition 33, with Hollow Knight, with Schedule 1, with all the little games that completely blew everything in terms of sales and in terms of popularity, when you had something like Assassin's Creed Shadows with a massive budget fail so spectacularly. And I think everybody got nervous in these circles, and that's why they're now doing a kind of all-win to reshape the industry. And they've done it before, by the way. They've done it before. The console wars, everything, the divide, what's going to be, what kind of this. It's not just in gaming. Big companies have always reshaped your entertainment one way or another. And they're trying to do it again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the first revolutions in console gaming is when the console stopped being the game. When Atari made that breakthrough alongside Activision, in that you could actually put games on cartridges and you can sell a game's console. And that was a revolutionary idea. It was also a revolutionary idea to create an entirely disc-based console, because other companies tried to do it as an add-on, and it completely failed in most instances. In fact, in all instances that I can recall. Or the aspect with the Wii and the Switch is, let's make console gaming physical with motion controls, and that was also revolutionary. So the next great revolution, which could make or break the industry, is to take the disk drive and to take the physical element away from gaming. And, you know, Rockstar and Take-Two aren't the only ones who have made this clear. On average, folks, 85% of all game sales are digital. That's the average. Some, like with Take-Two, are over 90%, right? But what these companies don't seem to understand is that while digital sales are vastly superior to physical sales, the vast majority of digital-based gamers want a physical option. They want the option available. And that doesn't really work with companies, right? With companies, they prioritize, profiteering, because that's how a company exists. Having an option for something, especially something physical, means, well, it costs us more and we get less money. So you don't have that option available to you. We're transferring you to something that 8.5 and 9 out of 10 gamers are embracing. And look, you got to take the rough with the smooth, because we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
That's their mindset.
until a certain point you can accept to bend and to twist a little bit because for the accommodations that the industry did. But now, $100 games, $1,000 consoles, only live service, paying for microtransactions and everything just so you can actually play, always online, subscriptions, and all of that. And imagine that at a certain point, just to play GTA 6, you're gonna have to put out $300 to $400. Is it worth it? No, it's not.
That's not worth it.
$100 isn't worth it. Let alone $300. It's crazy. It's crazy that and I saw Saint Hugo actually posting this. I think those making such decisions vastly underestimate that level of displeasement. I don't think that they are, because with what happened with PlayStation for over a month, with all the ratios and everything, and that every single post of them theirs on X was filled with people angry at them. 99% of the comments. They know, they just don't care because they're making a gamble. They have people who analyze these things, and they're telling them what to do. And the fact that they haven't, the only thing that they addressed was like, yeah, we are cautiously moving forward. We don't, basically telling us to go fuck ourselves. That means that they have already made a decision and they know the repercussions. But they're gambling two things currently. They're gambling the willingness of people to bend for the sake of actually having entertainment, out of the fear of that entertainment being taken away, because GTA 6 is probably one of, if not the biggest, I'm not going to say the best, but the biggest title this decade. And it's going to remain probably until the end of the decade. And they're gambling that people will eventually bend the knee and they're going to want to play it and they're going to submit to that. And that's their gamble. The only thing to battle this gamble is to stand your ground. Whether or not that's going to happen, nobody knows, because if what we're going to see on August 27, and I'm going to move to this article, if the Netflix trailer, and yes, for those of you who don't know in the chat, GTA 6 has paywalled the trailer, or the extended look as they like to call it, behind a subscription to Netflix. This,
and I was about ready to say there was another article similar to this, but not on IGN, but another, but it has the same thing about the Netflix subscriber thing.
Yeah, exactly, because this is the gamble. Look, no other company, I dare you to tell me another company, another gaming company that will dare to do this. No other company would dare to do something like this.
And now there will be.
And now there will be, exactly,
Yep.
because you have the big dog. If this is successful, if this trailer that is going to be also on YouTube 6 hours later, if this trailer has a success, and I can bet your ass that Netflix subscriptions are going to skyrocket. And the Netflix share will be possibly one of the most viewed things, at least in a quarter, if not in this year. If this succeeds, and the YouTube extended look 6 hours later also succeed, this is just going to send a blazing message. We did it. You can too. This is going to be like a promo message for all the scummy AAA companies saying, you can fuck your customers in the ass with a spiky dildo and they're gonna love it. We did it. Check it out. You know, this is going to be like a tutorial for how the companies to be more scummy to you. And when all the companies start to become scummy to you, what are we going to do? Like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play my backlogs. But sad to say, people like us are a very vast minority in gamers. A lot of gamers want to play the new games, even though they are against that. They are going to submit if they're not angry enough.
What's crazy is, if you just wait a few years and get some micro slop reward points, folks, you can get modern games at very affordable prices, as long as your system can manage them. I mean, folks, Starfield isn't even 3 years old, and I managed to get it for what, $15, $16, $17 of my own money. That's a steal. And yes, people don't like the game, but I enjoy it for what it is. Who knows? Maybe in 2028 or 2029, you could do exactly the same thing with GTA 6. One thing we've got to understand about this industry, like all industries, is that it will be affected by what's going on in the world currently. It will be affected by the recession that's coming. It will be affected by the cost of living crisis, which is at our doorstep across the Western world, and it's going to suffer as a result. This is the last time, or not last time, this is the last point, rather. You should be taking risks. You should be playing it safe. You should be, battening down the hatches and doing what works, not going out on a limb. You don't go out on a limb as a company during an economic crisis. You just don't. It's madness. Which
I think they're
means,
trying to secure it before that happens. That's why they're
means,
rushing it.
and that's a good point, Elzo. But from my point of view, the objective is to destroy the games industry, just like it's the objective, or was the objective post-COVID, to destroy the movie industry, but that failed. Because it was the objective of Netflix itself to destroy physical media. That was their origin because of their own personal experience. That isn't happening. It's not happening in the movie industry. I don't think it's going to happen within the games industry without a crash. What we've experienced over the last 5 to 10 years is a systematic attempt to undermine every aspect of our way of life, right? And if you want a case in point example, play GTA 5 and then play GTA 6. Because those two games are both great examples of what the world was then, as a parody of, the late 2000s, early 2010s for America. And if you play GTA 6, you will see what the parody of America is in the late 2010s, early 2020s. Because this game, literally, folks, have spent over a decade making it. So it will be a parody of the 2010s and early 2020s in that respect. So it's something you should all
to be a
think
vanilla-
about.
Or it's going to be a accurate representation. Because if we have to be completely honest, everything after 2019, it looks like a parody, smells like a parody, but it's the life that we're living in.
Exactly. But Digny, one thing I'll have to counter you on is that we're getting up to the point to where stuff like like I said, the only way that in the future, say like on PlayStation, the only way you're going to be able to buy the games and everything is through their storefront. There aren't going to be any other methods and ways of being able to get that. And pretty much they could just say like, the only way you're going to be able to buy this is if you buy it off of our storefront. No, we won't have any kind of discount prices on it because we can set the price at whatever we want, and if you want to play it, you're gonna have to pay those prices.
Yeah.
And that can only exist within an ecosystem that is viable. Sony's ecosystem is not viable. Microsoft's ecosystem is definitely not viable. Even Nintendo's system is increasingly unviable.
I know, and the only way that these companies are going to actually learn this is for it's like what we've been saying. Everybody needs to stick to their guns and everything. If they're saying that they're not going to buy it and all that stuff, just show that I don't care if this is the only place I can buy it. You don't offer any kind of initiative for me to buy it. Therefore, you can go fuck yourself. I ain't going to pay whatever price you want because you are telling me that it doesn't matter. I'll just consume it. Well, guess what? I won't consume.
And the one reason why, Kai makes a great point. But another great point is there's a reason governments and corporate entities have supreme power over the people. They have the one thing that no people, certainly not in Western civilization, will ever have, and that's organization. What you are proposing, Kai, is a great idea. But without the effective organization to rally millions, tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of people, then you might as well write up the Capitalist Manifesto. It'll be more effective in
Fair.
terms of
Well,
getting the message out there. That's why content creation is essential in doing what we do. But we have to accept the limitations of our capabilities as people, because if people could effectively organize, we wouldn't need a government and we wouldn't need a corporate entity. We'd all be able to make our own GTA 6. Wouldn't
Well, you
that be an
can.
interesting world?
You actually can, and that's why I'm putting this article up. And I just want to ask all of you and the chat, do you think it is logical to remove the production of a physical disc, to have so many game engines and stuff like that, and having so many examples of soul devs and stuff like that, and people that are producing a lot of great games with smaller teams, and hike the prices that much? Do you think it's logical? Purely logical.
I think that's what corporations do, period.
I'm not asking what corporations do. I'm asking, do you think this is logical? Because this is, again, what Strauss-Zelnick tried to defend. And this is, again, quote, pricing has not kept pace with inflation. Well, there are a lot of things that haven't kept with inflation. Salaries, prices of food, prices of living, they haven't, well, they certainly kept with inflation. They have risen up a lot, but the means to be able to afford those things have not kept up anywhere. I'm not just saying, I'm not just mentioning America or any specific country. It's a worldwide problem. But it's always so funny to see that we need to up the price. This is a very big country, a big problem in my country. They're always saying we need to be more like Western Europe in terms of prices, because that's how expensive there it is. Like the item, like prices for homes and cars, food and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we have the lowest still salaries, and by a margin of 20 to 35%. In the entirety of Europe. So it's a very nice, or at least a very funny thing to see how they're defending price increase with inflation, but nobody's defending or even mentioning your means to keep up with these prices.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean that's been a problem though, certainly in the United States and the United Kingdom since the early 1970s. So, and it's fine to bring up the inflationary argument, but if I was alive 50 years ago, I could have brought it up and it would be as equally as valid. You can point out problems till you're blue in the
yes, this
face
is
if
not a
there are no
recent thing.
solutions. Yeah, it's in fact I'm taking a look in my part of the world. The Bank of England have an inflation calculator. £549 in 2006, which was the release price of a standard advanced PS3 with the bigger hard drive, would be £977.66 today. That's definitely over $1,000. It's like 11, maybe $1,200. So these companies will literally make this narrative argument that their prices are being kept at inflationary levels in order to appease their shareholders, and that's all they have to do. And if folks don't like it, well, that's their problem, and that's the justification that these companies, whether it's in gaming, movies, or just in everyday life, that's the argument they'll make to the people who sign their checks.
Yep,
It's a sad fact.
It is. It is, and that's why you have people constantly struggling. And I want to get back to my previous point, and I want to hear everyone else's thoughts on what I'm about to say. That they're gambling this thing. That even though everything is rising, and what you said, Digny, that we are having a recession coming along, and everything that's going to collapse is at the door. The thing is that I think that they're trying to establish themselves before that happens. And once they establish themselves, when that happens, people are going to be even more desperate to get back to the normalcy that was having entertainment and buying stuff for entertainment. It's the same thing that happened post-COVID. People are so desperate nowadays, and I can see it with statistics and people just going, let's say, to the seaside, to a vacation, going around, traveling the world, even if it's becoming so expensive to do that and so unsafe. They're taking out loans to do that just so they can go, and that's a post-COVID symptom that being closed up for so many years, like 2-3 years, some cases being just closed and locked in your home. They're now wanting to return to the living side of life, and this is the same thing that I think is going to happen. There, when the recession hits, when everything crashes, and this is going to crash, and this is going to be, by the way, the smoother thing to happen if by what's happening on the other side of the world doesn't explode literally. It's going to be a very tough time for everyone who wants to kind of have a little bit of a post-work relaxation. And if the industry establishes what GTA and Sony are trying to do, the always online, renting your games, not having ownership of everything, having to pay constantly subscription fees, they're going to do everything, and they're going to be much more susceptible to submit just to get their satisfaction and get their relaxation. I think that's what they're trying to do. And if they succeed, this is going to be dark times, not only in our real life, when the jobs that we have to work become even harder for us to support ourselves and our families with less and less and less. And it's going to be harder in the one place that we had at this point where we could enjoy ourselves and just relax.
Well, speaking of information, folks, I want to give people a great example here, right? This is the Bank of England's inflation calculator, folks, right? And it goes all the way back. It goes all the way back to the founding of the Bank of England in 1209. Yes, the English and the British after them know how to keep records, right? Pound from 1209 is now worth £1,814.52. So basically about $2,000, right?
You have
Most
any laying around? I can sell you some.
No. A pound then was literally a pound, like a pound of flesh. But, folks, I want to make this clear, and this is true of entertainment, right? Not just money in general, but most of the growth we have experienced since the early 1970s is when it went exponentially up, similar to the US dollar. When the US dollar lost its currency strength was in the early 1970s. Most of our growth as a society for about 53 years has been inflationary. So it hasn't really been proper growth. For over 50 years, our civilization has been built on two things: debt and devaluing the currency. And it's only going to get worse and worse. And you look at when did console gaming first start? Console gaming first started in the late 60s and early 70s. This was before Atari even entered the field. This was when the console was the game. There weren't even controllers and things like that. But when you look at the history of console gaming since the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, you will see this inflationary effect in real time. That's why I believe a strong currency is a strong nation. The same can be applied in the games industry, where things that are built to last, systems that are built to last, are superior to systems whose libraries can just disappear as soon as your internet goes off, right? And that's the important thing, and in regards to what I'm showing you guys here, is that if you devalue yourself, you devalue your money, then you're going to be worthless. The same can apply with Sony's courageous decision. And if they succeed, what about the PS7? Is that going to be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? The prices will go up and up the more our currency is devalued, folks. The only reason I'm using the Bank of England is because it's literally so old it can give you a real-time example, right? So before before it went exponentially up. So in 1972, a pound back in the early 1200s was worth about, let's get it back, 148 pounds, right? In the past 53 years, it's exploded by a factor of over 10. It's crazy. We're devaluing ourselves to grow, and that's never going to work.
No.
Not in the long run.
No. In this instance, when the next recession and the next financial crisis hits the world, I don't know how we're gonna survive. But I'm just gonna show this to the chat again, as I did
Go
in
ahead.
the live stream as well. This is an external DVD burner. It costs €15, 15, not 50. And this is the game that I burned. It's Gothic 1. You can do this. It costs less. You go on the GOG, and almost every amazing game in the last 30 years is there. And I think that there are a lot of people that just haven't played older games, and I think that they should. Because I can tell you one thing. I'm currently playing Bayonetta, which is a game from, I think, 2010. And I can tell you that this game is even earlier. I know that the PC remake is 2017, but it's just like.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Helzo, but it really does depend on what
2009.
you define as old, right? Now we think
Everything
old games,
over 15 years.
right? It's like, come on, guys, a 15-year-old isn't old, right? But for gaming, it is because of how technology has exploded. Let me tell you what an old game is. Pong is an old game, folks. You try to get, a Zoomer, a flossing Zoomer to play Pong, they'll be more likely to shoot you than to play that game with you, right? That's old. Pong is old, right? Pac-Man is old. The original Super Mario is what, middle-aged? In their 40s, something around that region. And that's the thing we've got to understand. If gaming really is going to crash and burn, like the other industries and like the economy in general, we're going to have to return to the same conditions as the 1970s and the early 1980s, which will be a shock to the system of everyone. And what happened during the last video game crash? Atari crashed and burned, and alternatives rose to take its place, namely Nintendo, which is still around, and Sega, which is, to a lesser extent, still around. So the same will happen. I don't know who those new companies will be. For all I know, the KFC Kentucky Fried Chicken console will become a thing. Hey, Kai, you can play your game and cook your chicken at the same time. What do you make of that?
It's already happened.
Yeah, it already happened.
Yeah, but as a gimmick, not as a viable product. Right? There's a difference between selling a gimmick and selling a viable product en masse.
I mean, if there's one way that you can get more people to buy something, is to create other initiatives on why doing so. One of the big reasons why the PlayStation 2 was so considered one of the greatest gaming consoles of all time was due to the fact that it was also a DVD player.
Exactly. And
so,
when
yeah.
the video the video game crash happens again, Kai, you will see more innovations from new kids on the block that are going to not just make gimmick things like this. This is a gimmick. The Kentucky Fried Chicken console was also a gimmick. It was never meant for mass production. And even things that were sold in limited supplies, like the Virtual Boy, things like the Kinect 2, things like what was that disk drive add-on to the Sega Genesis? What was that called? I forgot. They're gimmicks because they completely bombed. They crashed and burned, right? People aren't going to buy this as a console unless they live in, I don't know, Ethiopia. I really don't know. But that's going to be the great thing about not just another video game crash, but another economic crash, is that existing systems will fall to bits and new systems will emerge to replace them. And that's the cyclical nature of not just history, but of human being, right? You're born, you grow up, you live the prime of your life, get set in your ways, you get old, and you fucking die. Just like companies, just like institutions, just like games, right? Only with shorter lifespans. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you live your life and you're a fuck up. And sometimes it does work out and you're president and you're bombing foreign countries. I mean, that the nature of entertainment, just like the people who make it, it's just like life. You're living out your dream, and sometimes it can turn into a nightmare. And speaking of nightmares, folks, what is this? Goddamn pregnancy test?
Yep, and it runs Doom.
Great.
I just wanted to showcase this in line of this topic, is that as long as people refuse to submit, you can do anything. And if you can jerry rig this to run Doom, controllable Doom, on a pregnancy test, then you can do everything. Humans can do everything, and I'm sure that there are people who can make a new kind of console, a new type of gaming experience. There's still ways to do that. Everything, yeah. Maverick, this is Doom on a pregnancy test, and this is just human ingenuity. And because companies always want to control us, they always want to make us, subscribe to them for life. That's why that's how piracy happened. The original piracy and digital piracy. You don't want to pay for scummy things, or you don't want to play, or you just want to have freedom to do whatever you want. You want to mod your game. That's why modders exist. And whenever something is created, that is how the human ingenuity that is refusing to submit makes it so. It makes it better. And that's what needs to happen here as well. And to my earlier point, that if they succeed in making people submit, that's going to be the end of modern gaming. And the few people that are left and are still playing backlogs and are just buying their games on GOG, or just, refusing to play GTA 6, there's just going to be like 1,000 people in the world, and everybody else will just be, okay, then I guess I have no choice. And they need to be shown a choice, by the way. They need to be shown that there is a better way that they can do this, that their refusal to submit to the corpus, to pay $100 or $300 is going to pay off. And I think that human ingenuity can do that.
Well, a modern golden age of piracy, folks. The equivalent of, stealing merchant ships and military ships. Great to see you, Jace. A modern golden age of piracy would be like Jace stealing a modern destroyer, or Galaxy hijacking an F-35, right?
Stop! I can only get so erect.
Because during the
That's
golden
why I showed
ages,
you the pregnancy test.
Oh boy.
because during the golden ages of piracy, that's what pirates, formerly privateers of the English and then British Navy, did. They would take on the Spanish, steal their ships, which were modern warships for the day, folks, and then made it their own. And when they stopped being privateers, they became pirates because they enjoyed what they did. That would be like if Jace and Kai and Galaxy were part of the U.S. Army, right? And they took on the enemy and captured their equipment. And then when the war's over, they take that equipment and go out being mercenaries for hire, that sort of thing. Okay? So if you want power to the people, you've got to utilize the resources of corporate entities and government entities. And that puts us in a very difficult position. I mean, give Jace the same amount of assets or a similar amount of assets as the Saudi-led effort with EA, and who knows what he's going to fucking do with it. And that terrifies the existing system. That's why, during the golden age of piracy, the British and the Spanish and the French all worked together to stop the pirates of the Caribbean, quite literally. That's where the idea of the films came along. And the big corporate entities of the day, namely the British East India Company, worked with the governments of the day to take down the pirates. So if you want to have power to the people, sorry to say it, guys, we have to be Somalian. We have to sail the seven seas and
Look at
capture
me.
all these ships.
I am the captain now.
Exactly. That's what gamers need to do with the games industry. We need to be Somalian. Which is crazy. I know.
Anti-racist.
Yes,
on
it
that
is.
note, I want to ask all of you a question. This is, by the way, something that Maverick said in the chat. What do you think of this? What do you think? Because we trashed, we spent the better portion of an hour just trashing GTA 6 and Rockstar's decisions and all the scummy things. But do you think, at least on the other side of things, that GTA 6 is going to be a jewel of a game?
No, I think since I've been driving and I've been listening, I said this in the chat and I'll repeat it again. You know what made Grand Theft Auto what it was? Whether it was the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth game, it was anti-establishment. And this game is the opposite. This game is the establishment, and something has been lost in the translation. I think that's the biggest problem that GTA faces, is that we're all looking at this and it no longer looks like something that, the old Grand Theft Auto games pushed the envelope. They were against the established order. Now we have a game that is all about the established order. Once you have Taylor Swift singing about games like this, it's over. It's over. Everything that made that game cool is gone. It's kind of like, look, when your parents were growing up, they thought bell bottoms were cool, all right? Now look, I mean, that's what Grand Theft Auto has become. It's become the bell bottoms of gaming. And so, yeah, there's going to be morons, and they've already made a lot of money off of these idiots that will pre-order an empty box and act like they did something with their life. But on the flip side, those people are going to be the ones forgotten, because those tend to be the people who do a lot of stupid shit, like injecting themselves with untested drugs and all sorts of other nonsense that we've seen in society. And how's that worked out for them so far? Most of them are in the coffin, the place that my mother won't go.
Let me put it to you this way, Jace, right? GTA 5 is the Paris Hilton of games. GTA 6 will be the Perez
Which
Hilton
Paris Hilton?
of games. The one who's
There you go.
actually smart. Right.
There you go.
Folks, the Perez Hilton story was quite frankly crazy.
Yep.
But in order to answer your question, Helzo, I'd make it very clear that if buying isn't owning, it's the same old, it's cliche. Of course I'm going to use it. If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing, folks. If the only option available is a rental, right? If you can't own your car, if you can't own your clothes, what are we, fucking Ferengi, folks?
Which is a good point. That's something that we're looking at, like Forum Wanted, is you can't even own your clothes. You will rent your clothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there was actually one thing in Star Trek Deep Space Nine with the Ferengi, is that when Ferengi children are born, their mother's womb is a rental. It's rental accommodation that they have to pay off when they grow up.
Wow.
So,
Ridiculous.
you could make it that crazy and government and corporate mandate that children have to pay 9 months worth of rent when they are full-grown adults.
By the way, I am
sure
sure that someone will try to sue someone for this.
I thought that was the way things work in Israel.
Yes.
I know about like something from 10 years ago where a kid, like a boy in America, sued his parents because he wasn't
be
asked
born.
if he wants to be born. It was like,
Yep.
the fact that this is in court is proof at how dumb it can all be.
Hmm.
But to continue with
Wait.
if Digny if you're
No,
done
please let
with-
Kai make his point and then
yes,
Galaxy.
yes, Kai and Galaxy to
Yeah,
answer the question.
Yeah, answer your question, Helzo. The other issue is not going off of like what Jace was saying about the pretty much Grand Theft Auto losing its identity. We also got to take into account of this is the most super fixated, hyped up game in pretty much the entire gaming industry. What was another game that was super hyped up to the max that
Oh,
almost
you're gonna hurt
took a
Digny's
decade to go-
feelings.
Grand Theft, with Grand Theft Auto, we're seeing the same thing that happened with Cyberpunk.
Mhm.
And look at what happened. People got so overly hyped about that game before it came out, and then once it did, it didn't live up to expectations. I believe that the version of Grand Theft Auto 6 that these people will have in their mind is not going to meet up with the version of the game that we will get when it eventually comes out. And that's probably going to be like the main thing that's going to make it quote mid is the fact that you're going to see people bitch and complain about like, you mean I waited over 10 years for this shit?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
All right.
I mean,
All right. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say it's kind of like what Digny was saying about content creation at the beginning of the show. This is how things go with gaming as well. You look about it, and what's sort of one of the bad things in content creation? What's one of the bad arcs that you can go to when you're young, you're hungry, you're willing to push the envelope, you're willing to do whatever you want to. You're willing to be much more honest than when you sort of hit it big and then. Well, now I'm worried about offending certain groups, certain people. Well, Grand Theft Auto used to not give a fuck who it offended. All right, and now when we saw this with the remake of the remasters of GTA 3, San Andreas, and all. Well, we're a little bit worried about who we're offending. We're a little bit worried about these people being upset or these people being upset. Well, if you're worried about that, now your creativity has already been kneecapped. It's a self-inflicted kneecapping. Because you're worried that someone's going to take it the wrong way. Shit. That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
so proud.
yeah.
I'm so proud.
So
I am,
like
I am the dignified coon gentleman, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Galaxy.
yeah, well, I was gonna say like Maverick was saying earlier too in the chat that if you look at GTA Online, they had the other characters, like the characters from the older games, come in the online part, and they changed them a lot. They like censored them a little bit, and also like changed their personalities basically to actually fit with what they're doing. So it's just and that means that if they're doing that to the older characters, you know they're going to do the same thing with the new ones. They're gonna make them very, very, very like on the level of what they want to do now with their ideology and stuff, instead of just like not giving a fuck and just doing what they used to do.
Well, I mean, Galaxy, it's kind of like what we're seeing with Persona 4, where they're taking Yosuke to sensitivity training. I mean, it's the same thing. All these companies that adhere to that Western mindset. That globalist mindset, I shouldn't even call it Western mindset because some Japanese companies do it as well. Not all of them. Some of them are course correcting. We have to adhere to this, this way of thinking. You're now even seeing Nintendo with Fire Emblem with the body A, body B bullshit. Where they're just bending the knee. Anyone who says woke isn't dead doesn't understand. They're not, woke isn't dead. It's just picking its spots better. It's biding its time until it could make a resurgence.
I mean, we also had
I just wanted to make a point. It's definitely making a resurgence. Also, like the stream, share the stream, and give us money. Go ahead, Kai.
I mean, we also had a very much recent example of all this with that remake of Halo Combat Evolved, where I don't know if you all saw it, but somebody pointed it out that in like that little meeting area where like all the soldiers and everything are at, where you can shoot every single
Yeah, we see
male
that.
soldier, male officer in that building, and you can see like the death animation and all that stuff for them. You do that same thing to a female officer, they got an invincible shield around them, and nothing happens to them.
Yeah, we see that.
Before I answer the question that I asked, I want to show you two things. And the first thing is going to be this one, because I just read it now. And I think that this is something that we can actually talk about. This is from Smash JT, who just said, I'm starting to wonder if the big surprise behind the GTA 6 Netflix partnership is a live action film or series. Take-Two CEO AstraZeneca says we'll understand more about why they chose Netflix once we see the GTA 6 presentation. If Netflix was simply hosting an exclusive gameplay review, why would we suddenly understand the partnership after watching it? A GTA 6 live action film series or comparison would explain a lot. And he says that's probably a long shot, but maybe there is more. So
Yeah,
that's actually if
I
that
could-
is the case.
Yeah, I could see them doing. I could see them doing like a mini series or something like that, a short mini series, limited mini series. But I don't know. I don't really know if it'll be live action though.
Well,
They might
think
just
that
like
this-
use their
this
use
is-
their like models and stuff they already have, so they could just like make a cheap fucking show for like 3 or 4 episodes.
They
or so.
might. Well, that will explain the budget, by the way.
Yeah.
On one side, it will be if you that will be logical, like to have it on Netflix. It will also be a good thing because there are a lot of people that were actually, even since San Andreas, they were like rooting for a GTA TV series or a movie. The thing is that on one hand, it's gonna be logical. On the other hand, you're gonna waste the whole review on this and not on actually hyping people for a game that are waiting for a gameplay review for years.
I got an idea, Helzo. I got an idea. A live action GTA 5 movie with Franklin, Michael, Trevor. Finally, we can see Stephen Ogg as Trevor. He always plays the Trevor character whenever he played Trevor in fucking Breaking Bad. And he doesn't like the fact that, oh, stop calling me Trevor, and all that sort of stuff, when it's literally his character, okay?
You know, these actors are hypocrites.
They are. And have Walter Goggins play one of the bad guys, right? I don't know who.
Like in almost everything now.
Exactly.
I just wanna,
basically, if they want a safe bet that will likely succeed, because let's face it, GTA 5, GTA 6, it's all motion capture, right? They're all just, mo-capped up, right? And they should do it like that, just in live action. They don't have to deal with any of the mocap stuff. They can hire the Fast and Furious people to do the chase scenes, right? And boil down the GTA 5 story into a 2 to 3 hour film. But the actors just look like they do in real life.
Yeah.
Just older.
We'll see. But that is a good thing to think about. I just think about it that if they're going to be presenting a live action trailer, what's going to happen to a game trailer? Where's it? Why don't we see anything about the game that we are so hyping about? But to answer my own question, is the game going to be good? I think that the game is going to be visually amazing. It's going to push limits, both on our systems and on our eyes. But as for gameplay, I think that this is going to be very, very crucial to what you can do. Because this has been going around for a long time. Because you know what everybody knows what you can do in GTA. Everybody knows the amount of mayhem you can produce in GTA. I'm gonna tell you what.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Yeah, if they do have it in there.
Surprised?
No, I said no. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if they do have have pride parades in there and they make them all like invincible, so you can't kill them.
That
If
would be
happens-
infuriating.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
will be. Look, I'm telling you, GTA 2 was my first GTA experience when I was very little, and you start your game with someone saying, "And remember, respect is everything." And you can get a bazooka from the nearby alley in the very beginning of the game with 5 shots, and you can immediately cause mayhem, widespread. GTA 3, you can absolutely go and do this. You actually had cheat codes for a tank in your first act. Vice City, San Andreas, you can do all of these. GTA 4, GTA 5. None of the GTA games have any constraints towards you just being an absolute piece of shit and killing everyone. If GTA 6 has it, and especially if it has it in the day and age where everybody seems to be turning away, even big companies, from the trans rights, from the obscene pride parades, from allowing every trans every man in a dress to pose as a woman and stuff like that. Things you're seeing a backlash against this absolute fucking movement. If they do that, just like what you said, Kai, with Halo, it's going to be the biggest nail in the coffin that they could produce.
You know where I think a lot of the problem started here is that this game should have been out basically almost one presidential term ago.
Yeah.
Why wasn't it? What possibly could have happened that they had to shelve the entire fucking game? Oh, that's right. Grand Theft Auto takes place in Mock, Florida. Donald Trump lives in Mock, Florida. President Trump got elected. And by the way, in between getting elected, he also got shot at. I guarantee you
Twice.
that somewhere there was an integral chunk of this game that revolved around ending the life of a character that was suspiciously exactly like Donald Trump. Because in GTA 5, you can murder a clone of Mark Zuckerberg. You set up his phone to explode. It's like they make a mockery of Google and Facebook, and then you rig his phone. Oh, I think someone's trying to dock with me. And it blows his brains out in front of the entire world.
I think that they probably could have still kept that in there for the thing if they're going to do it. If they actually didn't give a fuck about it, but
Whatever
now
they did was probably so blatant, Galaxy, that you know. I mean, look, you're gonna
but
have GTA devs handcuffed out.
But I mean, with that though, they would still have to keep the allow you to kill people like ever in their pride parade or something like that too. So that's what I'm saying. Have both ends of the spectrum for this instead of just having one end.
Yeah, I would be okay with that if they did that. Quite frankly, especially now when I look at the gas prices.
Despite everything, if we do think that GTA, like Rockstar, will keep their "we don't give a fuck" and just be able to cause complete mayhem, they're gonna have Charlie Kirk there. They're going to have you being able to possibly do a gender change operation with a chainsaw, and they're going to have Trump being shot. They're going to have these things if they don't give a fuck, because not giving a fuck is you rising above the politics. You know, you're just saying, this is what we do. This is what our game is. Our game is that you can be the absolute complete piece of shit, and we want to make a parody. They're like old South Park, you know.
Well, that's the problem, Halzo, is that the old GTA would have attacked both sides equally. In fact, they did. That's one of the things that made GTA beautiful. But as we've seen with South Park, what happened to South Park? Suddenly, South Park is just one long, unfunny Trump joke. And it's sad because, these are people who usually can make some really good jokes and land, and they were good at hitting both sides very well.
Yeah.
But they decided their politics was more important than making a good show. They made an entire season a long, unfunny Trump joke. And so, I don't think you have to like Trump in order to make a good game. In fact, a lot of people, even people who voted for him, got problems with the way that he's running things right now. But I do think that you need to be able to hit all sides with an equal amount. If you're going to have a mission where we do something to conservatives, I want a mission where we blow up the refrigerator where AOC is keeping her eggs. Give me a mission where I can blow up that fridge and save the planet.
Yep. And it's
environmentally friendly egg blowing.
Yes.
It's called President Abuela Simulator, folks, or PATS for short. But Oh, damn. Look, she's literally putting eggs in the refrigerator because she thinks a chicken's eggs are hers, right? That's the kind of...
Mother is preserving her future offspring so they may hatch and rule the world.
Okay, do that again, and
and
I'll make Turks take over your country again because that was creepy. Even for me, that was creepy. But the thing we have to understand about GTA 6 is that it has to work properly. A lot of people
That's
don't really factor this in because the last time Rockstar made a GTA game, this wasn't an issue in gaming. But in the past 10 years, releasing a game that actually works properly has been a big challenge for the games industry. Okay,
Yeah, and the other games they did after that, Red Dead Redemption's games, they all had no problems with working, but it's still, it's still an issue.
The problem is that quality assurance has gone. I think that there's a certain apathy that the games industry has grown comfortable with because of the fact that we are always online with our consoles and our PCs effectively. So they just go, we'll patch it later, we'll patch it later, we'll patch it later. We have to meet deadline, we'll patch it later. And I also think a lot of people working in QA, which, by the way, conveniently, many of the people who got fired in Bethesda that are protesting were in the QA department, which just makes that you can make infinite jokes about that because it's Bethesda. What QA? No. But, I think a lot of these people, because of the fact a lot of them have a certain ideology, weren't actually doing any work anyway. Hey, I'm going to go on the roof and bleach my ass. I don't have to do any work. What work? We'll patch it later. It's fine. It's fine. We'll sign off on it. But it's fine that we have NPCs in Starfield that magically start fucking getting raptured in the middle of the game. Oh, it's fine. And Todd says it just works. Yeah. Bullshit, Todd.
No. Look, it's what my managers tell me. It is intended.
Well, no, there's an old, the Blizzard trope, Helzo, working as intended.
Yeah, exactly. It's a feature, not a bug.
Because the creation engine, just like communism, doesn't work properly. It never has. Ever since they first built it in Morrowind, it's never worked properly, but it's worked well enough to make Bethesda Game Studios a shit ton of money.
Well, when you say that, Digny, here's the thing that's odd about it, right? Like, if you look at the older games, the Fallouts, the older Scrolls, Oblivion, Skyrim, there was like a charm in it not working. Because, like these stupid things would happen. Like NPCs would start randomly killing each other for no reason. Or someone would aggro who's not supposed to from like 10 miles down. Like you'd have an NPC follow you for 10 miles from like a city that excuse me, you violated the law. Why are you here? The city you're from is across the map. Like, and you would have all these weird bugs and they were charming. But I think the charm sort of stopped with Starfield because they hyped Starfield to be this AAA masterpiece. And so sort of expected that this would be the most smooth running Bethesda game we've ever seen, and instead it felt like the bugs basically tripled.
Well, that's the crazy thing, right? Because Starfield is a great example of this, because they knew that if they could not release this game working properly, it would have been the end of Bethesda Game Studio. At one point, every QA tester in Microsoft was working on Starfield about a year before the game released. This is the delay that happened, folks.
Yeah.
And even then, with all the patches and all the defenses put in place for the creation engine too, even then, although it was the best run Bethesda Game Studios product of all time, it still had problems. The creation engine is the Ford Ranger of games engines, isn't that right, Jace?
Hey, it got me here in one piece, didn't it? I was doing 80 on the road
I
back
can't wait
here.
for AI to do QA on all the coding that other AI has done.
Let's face facts. We know, guys, and Helzo, you make a great point there. AI add-ons. Well, that just complicates everything, in my view, right? When we look at how Rockstar develops their games, it takes them a long time. They're very methodical, but there is a danger of games taking too long to develop. Just look at what happened to BioWare when they took too long. Now, I don't think that's going to happen with GTA 6. That's why I say GTA 6 is going to be Starfield on steroids, folks, because it'll do well initially. A lot of people will buy it. A lot of people will support it, just like a lot of people bought Starfield. A lot of people bought Starfield, especially on Xbox, and after having Game Pass, they also bought it on Xbox. But after a year or two, it'll die down, right? And GTA Online will take over.
By the
Just
way,
like
this is a very
before.
good thing that you're putting out. It did sell well, and GTA will sell well. That's a given. And that is a bigger issue that most of the modern games don't concern themselves for being popular for too long. They just want to make their money back as quickly as possible, and that's another bad thing that has been instilled in the gaming industry. But in any case, we're gonna see. 27th of August is coming. It's only 2.5 weeks away. I don't know what's gonna be. I think that there is a possibility that it's going to be reissued, depending on every other news that comes out up until then. And we see what we have been discussing for an hour and a half has been just from last week. This is just Strauss Zelnick just going apeshit crazy for a solid interview and saying all the stupid stuff, all the anti-consumer stuff. And I think that if he continues like that, he's gonna dig himself even deeper.
This is the thing you got to prepare yourself for GTA, guys. This is the one thing you got to prepare yourself is when that special comes out. Every establishment games media, no matter what it is going to glaze it so badly it's going to look like a bukkake party. And so that's going to be that's going to be bad. You're going to have, by the way, prepare for it, because it's going to be like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones. The horde of establishment shills, the mighty queefs of the world will be yelling at you on X for even saying something slightly critical of that Netflix special.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to go because apparently there's a storm out here, and it pretty much just like my power cut out for a second and came back on because I have
damn.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get out of here because I don't know what's gonna happen.
We gotta get you a battery backup just to be safe. Just
no,
to
I mean
protect
I do have a battery backup. It stayed on, so it just
No. I was just saying to protect your stuff because I was worried you weren't protected.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Galaxy, don't die.
Yeah,
see you next time.
I'm hoping to still be streaming tonight, but we'll see how this storm goes. So I'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care. Hopefully,
This time now,
all goes well.
it's personal.
All right, see you guys.
Cheers. So yeah,
guys, I've been testing a new device, and it's a device that generates thunderstorms. Now, with this device, folks, I can, ramp it up and create a thunderstorm, and I only really use it when I want some shits and giggles. So, good luck, Galaxy. Yeah, I created that.
I do that with the bean
boy.
soup. I just do that with the bean soup, and it has the same effect.
Guys, I first tested the thunderclapper. That's what I call it, and it burnt out. The generator, the thunderclapper, burnt out. But that's why Kai had a hole in his house, because the generator blew out and it hit a tree instead of his house. But thankfully, the tree hit his house. So
That's what happens when you trust AI with anything. And it's also what's going to happen when we trust AI with even more stuff. And this is a good segue to our next topic, which is going to be shorter, but I think that in line with our tradition to having at least one AI topic.
Is that a penis?
I'm just gonna show you this.
That looks like a penis.
I think that is a protein cell in your body. The thing is, this from Disclose TV, just in for the first time, AI has designed complete viral genomes, producing 16 functional viruses that infect bacteria and quote, pose no threat to people. I'm going to open the entire article because this is this is
being-
look
This-
no
Mm,
threat.
yeah.
They have to highlight it. No threat. This
They-
is no
they
threat.
have-
Everything is fine.
They have to
Everything is fine,
highlight it.
folks.
They have to highlight it, Helzo, because people are prone to panic. Right now, we're all well aware.
Or nothing to see here, folks. There's nothing to worry about. You know.
You know what they should
But-
have renamed this title? New antibacterial solution
Oh,
destroys new bacteria for the first time.
Or
just wait
or-
until they back up Dr. Fauci into the cloud.
Yeah. Or, hey guys, we're trying to be in the Resident Evil universe. That's
Well,
that's
the
what they're trying to do.
But the
I'm
reason
gonna read
this
a
is
little
being-
bit. It's,
But the reason this is being done, guys, is because antibiotic research hasn't really been pushed in 50 years. So they're using new technology to develop, instead of expensive antibiotics, they're going to try and create cheap viruses to deal with bacterial infections.
the thing is that this is new technology. This is completely new. I'm gonna read a little bit of the article. Artificial intelligence has been used to design brand new viruses. These are new viruses. If you know anything about virusology, you know how viruses can evolve. That are fully functional and can replicate in the laboratory. US researchers say marking the first time whole genomes have been successfully designed by AI. By the way, this is the same technology that they're gonna use for human cloning, artificial limbs, artificial organs, and stuff like that, because these are genes that are being AI cloned and produced and spread. The 16 novel viruses are bacteriophages engineered to infect only specific bacteria and pose no threat to people. Stanford researchers synthesized 302 of the most promising AI designs, so it's like a fucking beauty pageant for AI viruses, and 16 prove effective at killing E. coli. The models behind them, Evil 1, Evil 2, of course it's evil. It's always evil. Work much like large language models, predicting the language of life rather than words after being trained on generic codes from viruses, bacteria, plant. I can't. All right. The thing is, I have no issue with AI being used to advance technology. I have an issue with what humans will do with this. You can bet your ass that someone out there is already planning a Mission Impossible style heist to steal that information and use it to wage biological war. I can bet my left toenail on that. Because that's what happens when you have such a technology that is completely groundbreaking. Someone is going to immediately try to either weaponize it for the government military or buy it, steal it, obtain it for bad things, for terrorist things. That's always what happens. And I'm reading this and I'm already seeing how someone is going to try to infect us with a new strain of like Ebola or something that is going to rapidly mutate and turn us into a walking zombies.
That's called immigration, Helzo.
Watch out, Fauci. You got competition.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
It's Dr. Digny,
Oh boy.
creator of
It's-
AIDS.
Oh my fuck.
That clip will never get old.
I mean, what are we doing? I don't know. Are we so afraid that from what we have seen? Because this is presented as a good thing, and I can read it, and when I read it, like it's killing other viruses, it's killing diseases, it's targeted against like virus disease. Probably it's going to be able to kill AIDS at a certain point and probably cure cancer. Just attack cancer cells
it's
and
an
just eat them from the inside without chemotherapy.
Helzo, it's essentially, instead of putting lots of time and resources into creating new antibiotics, which isn't profitable. They're using artificial intelligence to cheaply make new viruses that can fill in the role of antibiotics by their name, right?
Yeah.
It's being used as a cheap alternative for antibacterial medicine. And that's the only reason this is even being a thing. It is essentially a cost-cutting exercise because we haven't made a new antibiotic in 50 plus years.
The,
Because there's,
the
because
thing
there's
that
no
bothers
money
me,
in it.
yeah, but the thing that bothers me is like it's new technology, and I for one, like if it's something that is truly going to be groundbreaking and it's going to be safe, yes, use it, fucking use it, use the AI. But we know what happens. We already seen what can happen when someone uses AI for the wrong things.
This is the first step in a sci-fi movie to the AI becoming even more dangerous. They will figure out how to manipulate viruses, and then they will figure out how to make the AI itself replicate within the human body. And then we will have literal techno-organic zombies.
Yep.
The nanomachines will take over your body.
Synthesis
the Geth.
ending.
Yeah, basically the beginning of Mass Effect when you're fighting the fucking Geth. That's going to happen. That's going to become reality.
Real transgender people, folks.
Transgenders, modern meets the eye.
Sorry, you disagreed? You don't want to play Grand Theft Auto 6? Let's let our nanomachines get a hold of you. You will buy, you will consume, you will own nothing, and you will be happy.
Nanomachines
will make you be happy.
The thing is that AI has been used a lot lately, and that's not actually the only reason. I don't know if you have read, but Japan is about to release next year the first drug that, when inserted into you, will actually allow your own body to produce the materials and regrow missing teeth. That is one of the things that they'll be trying to do. Yeah, like if you have fallen teeth, if you have missing teeth, they inject you with a drug that kind of acts as an activator, and your brain starts to produce the materials like to regrow your teeth. And I think that's fucking amazing. And I want to be. Oh no.
Hells, I've got a story for you, which is horrible. Which is after you mentioned the teeth, this is even worse because of who's making this.
Helzo, right? I'm telling you that treatment, because there is something worse than a treatment not working, folks, and that is a treatment working too well. They take the drug and then teeth start just growing everywhere. It's like teeth on your skin, teeth on your penis, teeth on your face. Just teeth
That's right,
everywhere.
Mr. Benoit. That's right, Mr. Benoit. You cannot stop the Jews.
So Viagra, this is an Israeli study because of course it is, may help spread spread of cancer. So don't worry, you won't have cancer, but you're gonna have a boner all day long.
Yep. And now
it'll be given to you by Israel, who conveniently also owns OnlyFans.
Yeah, and then they're gonna give it. Then they're gonna send it to Africa.
Yes, so wait. I have actually got it. I got the evil plan. When you have a boner, the blood from your brain and from the rest of your body goes down there, and you become essentially dumber, so they can control you more. That's it. They're gonna give you.
That's when the nanomachines come into your brain.
Yeah, they're gonna give you an eternal boner, so you're a healthy dumbass without cancer. That's amazing.
And you'll have teeth. You'll have teeth all over you too.
On your boner.
Ah.
It sounds weird because the teeth one sounds like something the Israelis would make, because the Israelis had all their teeth pulled out in World War II. And the one about the Viagra sounds like something the Japanese would do, because of course they would. But you were saying it was either Jace or Helzer about something. Dangers of it was Helzer. I mean, the dangers of AI have always been there. The danger of any technological innovation, the same technological innovation that led to mass agriculture in the early 20th century, was the same innovation that created poison gas to be used in war.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, the
But,
thing is, the thing is what people will do with that information, what they will do with the technology. Because again, we know AI can be like AI, new technology, robotics, nanites, nanomachines, whatever the fuck they're developing everywhere. It can be absolutely amazing. But people are fucking stupid, and they're gonna fucking use it for stupid things and for dumb things, for power move or a power play things. They're gonna try to take over the world and whatever the fuck Pinky and the Brain taught some degenerates back in the 90s. That's the real reason you people are afraid. Nobody is afraid of your next black slave robot that is going to clean your house. They're afraid of what someone's gonna do when they hack it and it starts slashing your face in the middle of the night.
Well, that's the
That's it.
same as that would be the same as bringing a black person into your home, which is why I wouldn't
Yeah, but
recommend
then
anyone do it.
then it's by his own choice.
All right. Oh my God, Helzo believes in agency. That's terrifying. But I would like to make the point in that would anyone on this panel, would anyone in the chat, would anyone watching trust any of us individually with nuclear capabilities? I'll give you an example. Would the international community like it if Jace drove a nuclear-powered car, if his house was powered by a nuclear reactor in his, I don't know, in his basement? Would they allow Jace to have, nuclear bullets and nuclear bombs? No, of course not. Of course not. Same for Helzo, same for Kai, same for me, right? Because it's dangerous technology that can't fall into the wrong hands. Folks, everyone here is the wrong hands. We are like the Iran of pop culture. We just won't fucking give up. That's the only thing. Go on.
That's the problem that we're dealing with. You said before when it came to this GTA 6 thing that content creators sort of hold the key to really what succeeds and what fails these days. And you see it with people in the R circles and R spheres. You see it with some people that we've talked to and worked with and had on these panels. A lot of these game developers these days, they're afraid of what happens if Geeks and Gamers says something, or Smash JT says something, or Cabrutus or Grums or Hypnotic or anybody says something. Because you get enough eyes on it, and they can't get away from the controversy, right? But that's why now what you're seeing, Digny, is also, I believe you said it earlier. I don't know if you said it on camera. The dark ages of content creation begin. They need to freeze us out because it is a threat to the establishment that they have created. So all of a sudden you see it. Requirements going up at YouTube, requirements going up at Rumble, requirements going up everywhere. DLive disappearing, Odyssey next on the chopping block. BitChute is a fucking embarrassment. So, they're going to close all these avenues for people to speak their minds as best they can.
And I can give you guys a direct...
Just to visualize what...
well, I can give you a direct example while you share your screen, Helzo. I'm probably the only person in our community who actually likes playing Starfield. I know I keep mentioning it. It's because I've played about 20 hours of it since I bought it, and I've enjoyed it for what it is, right? Starfield was supposed to be the game to recover Bethesda's reputation after the disaster of Fallout 76. And I think in that capacity it succeeded. But folks, as is passionate diatribe condemning the game, which got clipped, of all people, by Dan Vask, of all people, who clipped that segment, completely destroyed the momentum of Starfield. One rant from one prominent creator was all it took to turn something that made $750 million in 3 months. The next 9 months, it only made $250 million. The momentum was completely gone.
Here's the flip side. Here's the flip side. It was if the pronoun bullshit hadn't, given them something to rant about, they wouldn't have been in that box. But that put a lot of companies on notice not to do this shit. Now, for a while, you've seen companies start to pivot away from it. But again, as we saw this past week, Fire Emblem Nintendo is going right back into that body A, body B bullshit. And the reason why is because these people will just learn to pick their battles better. Okay, we can't get away with it in Starfield. We could get away with it in this more niche game over here on Nintendo. And that's how they'll win through attrition. They'll just pick their battles better. It's guerrilla warfare. It is woke guerrilla warfare is what it is. They will just take the little hills they can get until they can normalize it again.
Yeah, they're gonna go with the indie games as well. They're gonna try to infect them as well, because it's smaller developers. They're gonna
Mixtape.
A lot of them are going to be, not just mixtape. Newer games that are actually good. But mixtape is a good one. They're gonna even go to
Expedition
games that are not.
69.
That's gonna be a good one. But games that aren't even into the mainstream media, because mixtape was very propped up. I'm talking about like they're just gonna walkify the games that are not shown up. Oh, hello, puppy. The games that are just, let's say, on game jams, that they're smaller ones, and they're just gonna start small again. And then they're gonna start propping them up, and it's gonna feel more natural to the people that are not paying attention. And it's gonna take them some time, but they're gonna fucking try it unless people keep vigilant. Now, as someone who is very slowly trying to make a game, I'm sure that if I put it publicly at a certain point in time, I'll probably be contacted if it's a good enough game by someone who's gonna try to say, yeah, I just have like a little bit of a suggestion, being in the industry for 10 years, and they're gonna try to say, put this and this and this. I've seen it with other devs. Like we got suggestions from some people to add certain flags, certain stuff, and what to do, what not to do. And they then later admitted it was a mistake. So it's already happening. Hello, puppy.
It's only a mistake. It's only a mistake if it leads to a negative backlash at the end of the day, folks. Whether we like to admit it or not, when you look at the recovery over the past few years with movie releases, the COVID lull has come to an end, and that's, in some aspects, that's good, especially for the cinemas, but for the movie industry as a whole, it's bad because it is a key element to the success. Cinemas, the physical releases in terms of like cinematic releases, is vital to the survival of the movie industry. So after COVID, when the numbers were going down in 2020, 2021, and 2022, that was when the movie industry and really the entertainment industry was at its weakest in terms of money coming in. It was also at its weakest creatively, and still, as weak as the foundations were, the building's still up. And now it's only going to get stronger and stronger. Maybe the economic crisis and the economic crash will smash the building down, but it's going to smash everyone down. So that's not much of a win now, is it?
Another great example, and I try to tell you guys that these people just pick their spots better, is yesterday on Rumble, I had to do my premium stream because you got to do a degree of premium to stay in the creator program. And I was playing a Yuden Chronicle, which is this game. Now, this is what the artwork looked like when it was in development, right? And I want to show you guys what the artwork on the final box of the game ended up actually being. Now, the two characters you just saw, you get from the beginning of the game. That black girl is nowhere near the beginning of the fucking game. But they just, it's important that you put a black person on the cover, even if she's not then and now, right? Yep. But that's the power of like the sort of DEI. And this had a terrible localization that was very anybody center to right wing. The localizers were all left wing, BLM, trans activists, Palestine, watermelon flag activist. And they said, oh, the lead developer signed off on the translation. There's only one problem. He died before the game came out. So you can't get him to refute the claim because he's dead. So, but that goes to show you, I mean, they'll pick their spots because look, RPG, niche RPG, crowdfunded via Kickstarter. We get away with it here because the big names aren't gonna scream about it, and they didn't. And it became very difficult, and it took a long time for that game to get any sort of course correction from modders or from people passionate about the project.
Imagine if the developer hadn't signed off on that and they just used his name as he was dead to lie.
Absolutely. I mean, we ran an entire
glorious.
country in America like that for 4 years. It's called the Biden administration.
Jace isn't wrong in that respect, folks. And when you look at the games industry, guys, No Man's Sky is 10 years old now. Literally today is its 10-year anniversary.
Yep.
That game is a description of the games industry in the modern era. And when No Man's Sky released, it was fucking awful. But because of patches and free DLC left, right, and center, it became a groundbreaking success. However, as a result of that, it gave everyone else a pass. Oh, we fucked up. We'll fix it later. Fallout 76 is an example of that. I have people saying, well, Fallout 76 is a great game now. Cyberpunk 2077 is a great game now. And my response is, it wasn't great on release. The release is the legacy.
I agree. Look, I'm a bit older. I come from an age where the game, when it came out, it was done because I'm old enough to have played games before we had this always online, ridiculousness. And, I think that's another reason why, by the way, the games industry is pivoting towards you not owning your games. Because when they burn it onto that disc, whatever's burnt on that disc is the game. Okay?
Yep.
No patches, no nothing. If they give you the complete game on a disc, that's the game. Like great example is Stellar Blade. If you remember, Stellar Blade got patched on PS5 to have more censorship because Sony didn't like certain things that were in the game, certain costumes on Eve. They didn't like there was some graffiti that said Hard R Cafe, stuff like that. On the disc, if you didn't connect that disc to the internet, you could play that raw and filtered game. But if you were connected to the internet, Sony pushed out a day one mandate patch to patch that out. So another reason they don't want you to have digital is because that copy of the game is the game. Flawed or perfected and all. And they can't have that. They have to have the ability to have permanent revisionist history. If they want to change a game 3 years down the line because some oppressed group that has political power controls them, they want the option to do that with reckless abandon. Because you can still find, to this day, you can find articles from 5-6 years ago on these sites that are retroactively having their headlines changed. Even 5 years later, because they're trying to, erase the history. If it weren't for the Internet Archive, you would never have the original versions of those web pages.
Also, to your argument, that's how, because you're gonna have to be entirely online. That's how they're going to be able to monitor you as what you do, what you say, let's say on the servers, and how you conduct yourself online entirely, not only on the game, but on the console or on the platform that you are. And with that, they're gonna be able to punish you appropriately if you're not deemed worthy of playing their games. Of course, it's not going to result in you getting a refund from what you have purchased in the game, but you might be banned, let's say, from playing what is supposedly needed to be your game.
Ubisoft has already gotten caught calling the authorities in the UK and Europe on people in voice chats. You also have, I think it was Riot Games working with some companies and some of these funded USAID organizations to try to create like a joint database between Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft, Riot, Epic, all these companies. It might have been Epic actually. And it's if you're banned on one, you're banned on alls. Like if they give you a 72-hour ban, it just is across multiple games so that they could police your behavior, which is insane to me that they would do this. But this is what they want. They want to tether everything to a real ID, a real person, one per person, consequences, and those consequences are reaching across the board because that allows them to control you because you will have a fear that you'll be frozen out of everything.
Yeah. Speaking of fear, folks, since we're hitting the 2-hour mark, I think this should be the bookend before we go into future plans. This is the games industry, this is the entertainment industry, and this is the political industry put into one. So let's play.
Out of the way, Goyam. You're changing tax policies to suit the middle class.
Listen, Mr. Shapiro, all this economic strain is lowering the white birth rate.
That's exactly the point. We want Goyam working as much as possible. Souls don't matter. GDP per capita does. When will you learn? Sit down, Goyam.
That's amazing.
The propaganda is too weak, Bob. Too weak. We must be funneling more money to the Middle East and other regions.
We're supposed to be helping Americans.
We're supposed to be helping Israeli people, Bob. An extraordinarily heavy weight on our shoulders being God's chosen people. Now, Goyam, what are we supposed to do?
We're supposed to be enacting globalist policies.
Yes, that's right. And we undercut actual citizens with illegals, creating an ultimate global economic empire that can race mix together. Now, listen, I have a few other ideas of our economic expansion that can hopefully funnel enough propaganda to we. Are you listening to me?
That woman is getting raped.
I don't care about the rape, Bob. I just care about developing.
Your Somalians are creating mass rape.
Well, in the name of multiculturalism, it is fine. Wait a minute. You come back here right now. Bob, you come back here. Ah, yes, that's a good boy. Now, if we can get back to
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
That is amazing.
But,
that is, by the way, that is exactly where's the lie? Where's the lie here?
There is no lie. That is the world we live in, which is why Helzo's.
You guys realize I haven't eaten all day, right?
That
coffee is the first thing I've had all day, so that just goes to show you how much I work.
Quiet,
can you post this? Can you post this?
What? Post what?
The link to this.
Oh, right, sure, by all means. By all
This was
means.
amazing.
And it was.
And I think
it
the
was
chat
in
needs
response.
to have it.
I can share my screen again to give you the context for why, and then I'll put the link in the chat. The context for it, folks, was nearly half of adults under 30 now live at home in the United States.
That's amazing. But anyways, I think that's a very good way to end it and to move to our future plans if we have any, because the way that things are going, I don't think that we're gonna have, because this is the last show. And I thank you for watching.
Helzo's people fought 2 world wars to stop this, and he lost. And no, he's not German; he's Bulgarian.
Yeah,
that is a fun fact for you guys.
This. But anyways, Kai.
Yeah, I'm here. I was watching everything, but I had to take care of some business, and yeah, that little animation was pretty sadly accurate.
I'm stealing it for our Facebook right now.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's the word I mean use. So, what are your future plans as now you're back?
Future plans is just pretty much just playing some more tabletop gaming and putting them up there on the rustic rollers and everything. We will be having a new party member joining up in the Favoring online game that's being ran by a buddy of mine, and one guy I think some of you all have interacted with, Nomi Swins,
yep,
ship captain VTuber. Very fun time over there. So yeah, if you want to check it out, just go subscribe to Rustic Rollers here on YouTube or on Rumble.
Nice.
Excellent.
By the way,
folks,
go Oops. About tabletops, I just saw something that I'll be getting. It's the Gothic remake tabletop game that's going to be coming out. I'm gonna get it. I'm not so much for tabletops. I have a couple of here, but like I just don't have the means to play it because you know what happens with tabletop games and cats?
Oh boy, they
Well,
knock it all down.
That's why we always use a Roll20. That way you don't have to worry about all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, just to let folks know in the future, sometime during the course of this week, the network will be covering the EDP 445 documentary, folks, also known as the Pedo Avengers, because Boogie's in it, Chris Chan's in it, a few other people are in it. Ben Shapiro is mentioned, Sneeko is mentioned, Chris Hansen is in it.
Critical is
Most Critical is referenced in there too. So I think so is Asmongold. It is one hell of an experience, so it will be something that will be covered, if not on Tuesday, definitely on Wednesday. My future plans, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep on going and keep on growing. I was quite tired this morning and this afternoon, but I found out some very sad news, and I feed on the suffering of others, so my morale exploded in terms of other people's suffering, and I was able to make 3 videos in an hour, which is impressive, at least for me. So if you want greater context, the answer is no. Only I can benefit from other people's suffering. You are not allowed. And no, it's not Jace suffering.
Yeah, I'm always fucking suffering.
Right.
I didn't have breakfast. I didn't have breakfast. I didn't have lunch. I rushed through traffic to get here. I've had all I've had is coffee.
And yet here you are currently suffering and feeding Digny.
I'm sorry to say, Jace, but you shouldn't spend $20 on burritos. You really shouldn't. You should be eat ramen. The Greatest Generation. And then D-Day.
The irony is I'm gonna be eating ramen because that's all I have in the house.
Right? Eat ramen. Literally, I'm pretending to be Mark Levin. Can we create a Mark Levin Digny, folks, so I can talk to you about how the Greatest Generation endured rationing and D-Day in exchange?
So my life.
Yes. I am Somalian, Yasto. I constantly eat. I ate. In fact, the longest I go without eating is during these shows. or sleeping.
And even sometimes even that doesn't count because we have heard you eating.
So
but Jace, what are your future plans?
Well, I'm gonna be exactly. I'm dying. Well, I'm dying slowly every single day. But yeah, so I'll be doing some gaming later on the Kansas Podcast Rumble channel. We are only about 13 followers away from 2,900. That unlucky number. So help me get a few more followers would be appreciated over there. Ryan, the mentor of Digny, and John will be doing happy hour tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Kansas Podcast channel. It's not going to be happy. It's especially going to be not happy. And it's not happy for me, even though I'm not even there, because Iran just said they ain't negotiating with Trump at all, ever. And now we just get to eat $5 gas where I'm at.
Do you know why, by the way? Do you know why?
Because Bibi shot them again.
Yep. Like he explicitly said that doesn't work for us. Fuck you.
Yeah.
They were this close.
He did a Hulk Hogan.
They were this close, Jace. They were this close. Both parties, both countries wanted to sign this. They cleared everything out, and suddenly this absolute motherfucking cunt comes. And nah.
That's not gonna work for me, brother.
Who the fuck is asking you, you stupid son of a bitch?
Yeah, he did a Hulk Hogan. That won't work for me, brother. I'm not gonna job the HBK. That don't work for me, brother.
Jace, no peace until 2029, and even when there is peace, gay race communists will be in power to finish the job.
Look, when there is peace, we're going to be paying for a $40 burrito if we're not all in jail for memes. because they've somehow communisted AOC into the presidency with Vice President Hassan Piker. Don't ask me how that fucking works, but you know what?
Yeah.
That's the fucking nightmare scenario that we're now living in. To quote Vincent Valentine in the original Final Fantasy VII before they made it lame and gay, I shall now have more nightmares more than I previously had. So that's my life.
And on that positive note for America's future, thank you very much for watching the last episode of Discuss Things Tangent Kings. 48 episodes, folks. Exactly.
As for my future plans.
Oh, you don't get any. You don't have a future.
Yes, that's what
You don't
what I
have
was gonna
future.
say. That's what I was gonna
Boy.
say. There is no future, but as long as I do have a few days left on this earth, I will be streaming, trying to make some videos, working overtime too, so I can pay my bills, and hopefully trying to gather some more money for the cats. I do want to say to everyone to go and visit my community pages on YouTube to see what we did last week for the Happiness for Cats Foundation, and if you want, you can donate here to the channel and help me and help the cats, or you can go to the PayPal and Revolut links in the community post and just help the 60 cats that a mother and her daughter are taking care of amazingly, I might add, all by themselves. That's all I had to say, and hopefully you do that.
Yes,
But anyways,
folks.
with this, I think we're done forever.
If Helzo did, it's so strange because I work with Helzo knowing that he helps cats, stray cats, the way he does. But if he did that for people, especially people of a certain color, we'd probably be the biggest of enemies.
I would probably not be here if I did that, and I would probably have my organs sold to some of you.
Digny, I have good news. If it is in fact the last Tangent Kings, I have discovered a new name for whatever the next reality-based Monday show is. I've discovered the perfect name. Here it is. Reality-based. How was your weekend?
I seriously think we should do a show called "How Was Your Weekend" on a Monday. But the problem is we already have Tangent Kings, right? So why do we need a second Monday show for? But if this show does blow up, folks, we'll have a Rumble exclusive show called "How Was Your Weekend?" A reality-based show.
Exactly.
It'll be like a Star Wars story. How was your weekend? A reality-based show.
And everyone on the panel can eat an orange at the beginning of the show simultaneously.
Yeah,
And
what are the oranges for?
They're for? Yeah.
we can get Creamsicle on, who is a horse orange,
Just
but looks
don't-
like a
just-
horse vagina.
Just don't soil your pants in the beginning of the
Yes.
stream. That's the only thing that you shouldn't do. I know it's Rumble and you can basically do almost everything there, but no.
Yes. Well, there's one thing you can't do, and that
End the
is
show?
Dan Bongino. Bye for now, guys.
Cheers.
See ya.
Stay fresh and have a good one. Thank you very much. Smile and wave.
Black Lives